Hello everyone! Political pressure is mounting and Europe is accelerating its effort in defense. The new European plan demonstrates a determination to stimulate significant investment in defense. Building on the ReArm strategic initiative, Europe aims to bolster its industrial and strategic resilience. The ambition is to mobilize 800 billion euros of investments over 4 years. And a number of institutions have already committed to this. One such institution is the European Investment Bank, EIB, which broadened its eligibility criteria for defense investments in March. The EIB has historically been very conservative on this issue, but this change in trend tells us a lot about the shift in attitude. The private sector will also be called upon, with defense now being included in ESG investment strategies, or at least in theory. It is worth mentioning that the ICMA, the International Capital Market Association, which guarantees green, social, sustainable and sustainability-linked bond labels, has refused to include defense on the list of eligible projects. However, consultation is open on the possible creation of a responsible defense bond label. These bonds would meet the same requirements as the other labels with regard to the use of funds raised, traceability, reporting, etc., but they would be linked to defense projects. And this is where things get tricky, because how can we distinguish between defense and attack activities? How should we deal with dual-use technologies such as drones, and which areas might interest responsible investors? Responsible investors are likely to be more interested in investment that address security rather than defense more broadly, while also having a positive societal impact, such as modernizing electricity grids, developing renewable energy storage, and protecting energy supplies against cyber attacks. According to the European Commission, the defense sector supports sustainability by contributing to resilience, security and peacemaking. However, it remains to be seen how sensitive responsible investors will be to this view. Some sustainable funds are adapting their eligibility criteria to include defense stock from a social perspective, focusing on the protection of human rights. Sectors such as cybersecurity and surveillance are also beginning to find their way under certain conditions into ESG investments. But there is one player staying the course, which is Norway's sovereign investment fund. Its ethical guideline excludes participation in serious violation of human rights, contribution to armed conflict, involvement in the production or sales of weapons prohibited by international law, and also they don't support activities considered contrary to the international law, particularly in the occupied territories. Steel supplier Evraz, for instance, was excluded from the fund for supplying steel to the Russian defense industry. The concept of sustainable defense is a thorny issue that highlights the reality of responsible investments. The impact of politics, circumstances, and financial interests often outweighs ethical consideration. And once again, each investor's personal values remain the only true compass. Thank you.